Alright, we have a lot to do, so I don't think this is going to be much of a tutorial video. I'm not that guy, but I'm going to try and document as much as I can. If I run into any issues as far as suspension and everything goes, then I'll try to explain a little bit, but I just kind of suck at those things. So the goal is to get both front fenders rolled and then pull the spindles out so I could take them and get them shortened. And then in the background, Katie is in the middle of pulling her headliner out right now. So I might throw that in there too as she progresses with that. She's been starting on her interior, doing some reupholstery on it, and it's essentially just kind of like working from the inside out. And we'll get more into the Skyline as far as like maintenance and future plans and stuff. But for today's episode, mainly we're going to focus on the beginning of the Chaser. Without further ado, let's start.
Alright!
I'm proud of you. Did it all by yourself.
Thanks. I'm sweating. I think a few clamps didn't make it in the disassemblance of this, but
so I can't roll the fenders, it doesn't reach. This is why this isn't a tutorial video, because half the time I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm just going to start pulling the spindles out, and then once the car is all back together and lower, I'll roll the fenders.
alright, it looks a little rough, but the spots that are rough, I think they're going to be covered. Like this is going to be covered by the trim, you know, that I had to poke little tiny holes. This obviously is going to be covered.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to dye my plastic parts.
Oh yeah.
So, we'll see. I don't know how I'm going to get it back in there, so.
You got it.
Alright, if you say so.
made the job 10 times easier. I got everything out on this side. I'm working on the passenger side, or left side, since it's right-hand drive, and I had it all apart, but the two nuts underneath that held the, or the two bolts that held the spindle, they were seized, and so don't make this mistake that I did. Loosen those two first before you remove the upper control arm. So I just threw the upper control arm back on, just put the bolts in, and just broke them loose. So now I can pull everything out. $20 at Harbor Freight. Totally worth it. Made the job way easier. And of course, breaker bar, because I'm built like a 12-year-old, and this helps me out. I literally cannot work on cars without a breaker bar. So I think for now I have to run to a birthday party, but I am going to load these up and also drop them off while I'm out there, so I could get the spindle shortened. And the reason why I'm doing all this is because if you shorten your spindles on JZX when you're lowering the car, at least for the amount that I'm going to, it prevents the upper control arm from smacking your strut tower housing. So I'll be getting these shortened and reinforced and everything, and while that's getting done, I'm gonna just move on to the rear and tear down everything there. Katie has been just sitting in her car admiring. It's really dark, so I can't see.
Oh, yeah.
You want to flash your light?
I don't know if that helps at all.
It does.
There's a few little spots though, but still, I worked really hard for this. And I deleted my handles too.
Yeah, in the rear, so it actually looks a lot better. No more oh shit handles in the back. But, good job.
Thanks. Next step is to dye all of the plastic black.
Cool.
So.
All right, you ready to go to your mom's?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, we're back. So, dropped off the spindles yesterday and got them back a day later. So, they're shortened 35 millimeters and they're reinforced with plates on both ends, and I'll show you guys here. You can see there's shortened and welded and reinforced here, and according to some of the guys, this is how a lot of people do it. So he has the tool to make sure that the mount for the ball joint is still in the same spot that it should be. So very happy with the quick turnaround rate, and his Instagram is tall_Kyle if anyone ever wants their JZX spindles shortened. Luckily for me, he's local, so went and dropped them off. He did them in a day, picked them up the next day. So we're going to start on ripping apart the rear now. So I was gonna throw like everything in the front, but I just kind of want to get everything out, and then NICs all my bolts, everything, and just try and be more organized when putting it all back together. officially got everything out. So all the arms, rear suspension. I also pulled the calipers off. These are very rusty, and just sanding them down so I could paint them. Katie was helping me with sanding and prepping them, but she got injured, so not terribly, just back issues. So she's inside just relaxing. But the two fronts are already prepped and ready for paint. I'm just gonna leave the rotors on the rear. I'm just gonna mask everything and spray them. But everything's out. I got spindles ready, coilovers. I gotta measure out and everything, make sure the helper springs are set where they're supposed to be. I've been putting all the OEM nuts and bolts on everything so I don't lose anything. Got these all prepped and ready. So I'm going to just match everything to OEM, NICs everything, and I'll be throwing it all back together today. But I'm going to end the episode here, just because I think it's a good stopping point of ripping all the OEM suspension out. So I appreciate you guys watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll pick up from here next time.